Hi there planner friend, it's Chloe here, and in this video I want to share my 2025 project planner test, but specifically I want to share the 3 inserts that I'm using in this project planner that I feel are absolutely vital in keeping me and my projects organised. So let's get to it. I'm also going to share a couple of things that I feel are missing from this project planner. I've been using it for about a week now, and I've already noticed actually there are a couple of other things that I'm going to need. I'm not going to talk too much about the accessories and stuff. I want to just go straight into my first vital insert for a project planner, which is an inbox. Now, how I like to use my inbox is each month I will start a fresh inbox sheet and I will just log to-dos, people that I need to follow up with, people that I'm waiting on a reply from, any expenses that I need to log into my work system. All of that kind of stuff gets logged in here. And then say, for example, with expenses, what I can do with this insert is if I tag things in this column as expenses or follow up or what have you, it just makes it really quick and easy for me to spot where are the expenses that I need to log into the system and what were those receipts for. And then as I do things, I can just cross them off either with a, I usually do a tick. So I have a bit of a system. I will do 1 tick if it's in progress, and then the second tick to make it a cross to say that it's actually being completed. So once something is completed, I then strike through it with a highlighter so that at the end of the month I can look through this list and easily see the things that haven't been completed, and I can transfer them to a fresh inbox sheet for the month ahead, and then I can just either archive or dispose of the previous month's insert, because technically everything else is either dealt with or transferred. So this is my first vital insert, some way of managing those incoming tasks, reminders, to-dos, etc. Now the next insert, and this is maybe a bonus insert. So it's dot grid paper. I actually found this on Amazon, and it's pre-cut to A5 size, and it's also pre-punched with 6 holes. So all I do when I get a pack, and I will pop a link in the description, is I will take my embroidery scissors, because I find that these kind of very thin nosed scissors seem to be the easiest for chopping through the holes, in my opinion, and I can just be super fast by popping the blades through, having the bottom blade rest on the top sheet of paper and then just snip, and I can quite quickly get through quite a big stack of paper that way. So that's my little top tip. But I do use this dot grid paper in a sort of note-taking fashion, shall we say. So when I originally started my role as a home design consultant, I did have a project planner filled with dot grid paper for taking notes whilst I was on like client initial briefings or doing a presentation and making notes and what have you. But what I found was I was using this dot grid paper, even though I'm in a ring bound planner, I was using it in a very linear way, as though it was like a notebook. So take my meeting notes, get to the end of the meeting, then a new meeting, turn a page to a fresh page and start making notes again. And my mindset was kind of just doing it in the linear fashion because I'm thinking notebook, but actually what I began to find was as more and more meetings happened and I had more and more notes, it began to become really difficult to quickly put my hands on notes from different meetings. So if a customer calls me up and they want to discuss whether they should have this sofa over that sofa, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to refer to my notes to just check what we've discussed, I would sometimes just be flipping through all of these pages trying to find that person's notes, and it just felt a little bit messy. So initially I did start using page flags so I could quickly flip through and just quickly find different meetings. But then in the end I was like, I'm silly, why don't I just have a system for organising and filing them? And that's where using these A to Z index tabs came in, and this moves us nicely on to my second vital insert. So this was a bit of a bonus insert, but these are the vital insert. And I know technically maybe dividers aren't really classed as an insert, I don't know, but to me this is a vital part of this project planner setup because it allows me to keep my notes organized and quick to reference if I hop on a virtual call with a customer at the last moment, or they call me up out of the blue to ask a question, as I gave in my first example. So having this is just a real key aspect of keeping notes in a format that makes it easy to navigate. I don't know where I would be without these. I do still use the page flags, as you can see, because under A I have 3 Annas and an Angela. So, and they are all active projects at the moment. So I do still use the page flags in that sense, but being able to flip to the A section and then to have to just go through a few little page flags is a lot easier than flipping through pages and pages trying to find some notes. And then this brings me on to my third and final vital insert for my project planner setup, which is a project checklist. Now, I had initially toyed with the idea of having some sort of maybe Kanban board in Notion. When I used to work in web development, we used to use Trello, and we would have our Kanban boards set up or a Kanban board for each individual project. However, we probably weren't managing as many different projects at the same time as I am now with this role. So I don't really know that having a gazillion different Kanban boards is really going to be the best thing. And also I didn't really want to go digital. As I said, I take a lot of my notes by hand. I'm analog in a planner. It's just easy to carry this around. If it's open on my desk and like I say, I get a call, I can just turn to notes very quickly. I haven't got to open up a laptop, log into this, that and the other, wait for things to load, rely on having an internet connection, be distracted by a gazillion emails, notifications that come through or what have you. So sometimes it is nice to be kind of, I guess, off grid with how I'm managing things so that I don't have to rely on being in front of a laptop. So that's where having an analog way of managing projects became a vital thing for my project planner. And I only created this recently because I noticed that I was often forgetting to do certain things like log my mileage if I'd been to visit a customer at home, for example, or export a PDF of the product list in time for the meeting, the presentation or what have you. So by having this list, it just makes it a lot easier to work through the different deliverables and milestones of each project. And this initially started as a sketch, a list on my dot grid paper, and then organising the list of, okay, I mustn't forget to do this, and I also need to do that, and and then grouping them together into stage 1 checklist, stage 2 checklist, stage 3 checklist. So I feel like the project has milestones and each milestone has the deliverables. So that's another thing that I would say is vital for a project planner setup, having some way of managing your project milestones and deliverables and keeping on top. Another great thing about, and keeping on top of things before I move on to my next thought, which is the other great thing about having this project checklist is that I can have this very quick overview of how each project is progressing. I can see every single customer. I can flick through and see, oh, this is where I'm at with Anna, and this is where I'm at with Angela, and have I done X, Y, and Z? Another great thing that I love about this is I've given myself a notes section, and what I tend to do is whatever notes I might have made in one of these sections, if I'm on, say, a video call doing a presentation for a customer, and they kind of either throw a curveball at me or give me some key information, say the painter and decorator has been delayed and isn't due back until whatever date, I can pull out those key bits of information that are vital to the progress of the project and note them here so that it's all central in one place. It just gives me that top level view of all of my projects in a very quick and succinct way. So again, I feel like this is such a handy way of managing projects and is really vital to any setup. Now, yours may look completely different to this because your projects will be different to mine. But if you are doing any kind of project management, it doesn't necessarily have to be design projects, then this is definitely, having that checklist is definitely a vital part for your planner. Now, there are two things that I feel are missing from this planner that I've noticed recently. And one came to me whilst I was having a review with my manager, in that I have to set myself professional objectives for my personal development within my work role. And we use an online system for that, which is great because I can set the key measure for success, like indicators for success or tasks or what have you, and set deadlines and change the status from not started to on hold to completed and all of that kind of stuff. And it does give me email reminders if an objective is due or the deadline has passed. However, because it's this online system, it does kind of feel like it's set it and forget it. Like, I will create an objective in the interwebs, close down the application, and then kind of forget that I've done that. Now, I think there are two things that can help me stay on the ball with those objectives. One would be actually logging things in my physical analog calendar of when deadlines are, and maybe noting on different weeks when I need to sort of be moving one of those objectives along to the next stage. But another thing I think I probably could do with is a analog paper version of my objective. Now, maybe I could just print it out, but it might look a bit ugly. Maybe I want some sort of way that I can think about on paper objectives that I want to set myself, and then plug them into the system and send them to my manager to approve that objective. And then I've got something in my planner to remind me and keep checking in on it, if you see what I mean. So having maybe behind my inbox a section where I'm being reminded of these objectives. So that's one thing that I feel like I need in this setup. And then the next thing I need is some sort of scheduling system. Now, originally, as I said before, I had my project planner in with my main planner, with my weekly schedules, my monthly inserts, my yearly overview, all of that kind of stuff. So I was kind of doing the time blocking for my work and managing my tasks during the workday within my personal weekly inserts. But because I'm now separating it out and I want to keep work separate from my personal life, I'm thinking of maybe doing a diary and going for because I'm familiar with the Traveller's Company notebooks, having a Traveller's notebook vertical weekly, and their diary comes in two halves, as it were. So I've got the first half of the year in one notebook and the other half in the other. And I'm thinking that this could be a good way of doing my time blocking and just having a very portable way of seeing my work schedule, so that I can easily pop this in my bag at the end of the day and bring it home with me and transfer anything important to my main planner. But yes, I could have just put an insert, just printed out an additional copy of my weekly insert and used that. But I'm really trying to go for this idea of there being a separation. And I just feel like having something that looks and feels completely different might be beneficial, so that I've got more headspace. In my mind, I feel like having my weekly schedule just for my stuff in my headspace is like I've got room to think about the other things that I want to do with my life outside of work. I don't know if that just sounds like word salad, because in my head I know what I want to say, but the sounds that are coming out of my mouth just sound like complete word salad at the moment. Yeah, because I'm thinking out loud. But this is what I'm thinking, that I can just slot this in at the back of my planner, maybe. I don't know. Depends on what planner cover I end up going for. But yeah, this is the situation as it stands.